Hey, it's the Chief Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. We are back with some Twilight 2000. All right, first of all, if you're liking the show, please subscribe, thumbs up. And if you really want to be involved, there's Patreon. You can go there, look up Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. Let's get into this. I'm on a road trip, and it's an eclectic group. We're going in hunt of gold. So we have the head of PimGym, Kanan Krieg, who says when he was, before war broke out, he was a private contractor and he knew where gold is being stored for the Polish bank in Warsaw. They're trekking toward it. With them are 3 Russians: Vladislav, Afanya the sniper, Luka, more the heavy weapons guy. These are Russian Spetsnaz. Now they also have some commo guys with them, and with the commo guys in a Toyota is a young fellow named Casimir, who I thought this story would focus on, but it's been an ensemble so far. We also have with Kanan Krieg one of his contractors, Sanchez, who was wounded in season 1. We have Major McGiffin, and he's got a couple of his M240 gunners with him. We haven't really been introduced, but there's some firepower. We have 3 vehicles. We have Kanan Krieg's, I think it's a Georgian armored car, photo on the screen now. We have the T-80 that the Russian Spetsnaz are rolling around in, and then I already said like the ubiquitous Toyota 4-wheel drive. Now, we are coming up on one of the bigger cities along the highway system. It looked like, for me, it'd be Highway 15, but it kind of jogs as we head north toward the Vistula, where we're going to catch a boat into Warsaw, hopefully. But we are headed to a town named Inowrocław. Inowrocław. A little bit bigger town than we've come across. I looked it up. It's known to be industrial. It has some interesting salt mines and salt baths. I don't think we're going to run into that, but I just looked it up to see. But this one's making me nervous. This is a bigger town. There's a way to skirt around the edge of it. I think we're going to move and stay kind of south and east as we kind of go around the highway. But I got a bad feeling about it. And not that things have been easy when we had the car problems, but I wanted to shake it up a little bit. I know my guys on this trip, they've got good vehicles. They've got plenty of ammo. They've got good food. And they've got a mission to get to Turzan, hopefully I'm saying that right, find their boat captain and get on up to Warsaw and hopefully find bullion, tons of gold bullion. But I created a little table here. And it's called Now I've Seen It All. So I wanted them to be a little shocked. We had the little girl that was traumatic in an earlier episode. We had the kind of irradiated bear. But Now I've Seen It All is a 3 columns, 10 items in each column. I'm going to roll on each one to get a feel for what we see as we roll in. Now we still have Casimir with the 4 Russians in the Toyota. They're taking the lead. They have radios connecting them back to the Spetsnaz and back to the U.S. troops and Kanan Krieg. The 4 commo Russians and Casimir, who's Polish, young fella, 16, are kind of like their forward lead group. And they're expendable. But I want to see what they see as they roll up. So we're going to figure this out real quick. I'm also using Mythic to help out. 8 is, I have a 747 that's being used as a house. So what I did was I just kind of sat down and came up with some wild stuff. This looks like some 747 that's came in and crash landed at some point, and it's being lived in. Pretty big vehicle. The aluminum, it's not going to rust. It's being converted. Let's see what else. So the key is, as I come across, we could get some wild stuff with this though as well. 3, so coming across is prisoner. So we'll figure this out. 747 and then prisoner. So is it being used to confine and hold prisoners? That seems odd. Coming over to the third column is 1. Horrifying. Huh. Horrifying. Okay. 747 house, prisoner, and horrifying. Okay, sure. I think as we have Casimir, he's sitting in the front seat, passenger, so he's going to converse or do whatever kind of translations or speak Polish. He's Polish. Speak in the Polish language. They're rolling and they come across a plane. They can see a plane that clearly, a 747 that went down in a field, and looks like it's still, at least the main body of the plane is still intact. So they're seeing what looks like a 747 that's being used as some kind of building structure, house, with an open field prison that's literally adjacent to the 747. So I'm imagining like whoever's controlling this prison area lives in the 747 house. But with horrifying, the only thing coming to mind is either spiked people that are like kind of like Vlad the Impaler, or crucifixion. So let's go to the mythic. Is it crucifixion? 50 or less. I need my other die. 54. So no, it is not crucifixion. So we'll go with the inverse. There are people that have been, I forget what they called it. It was Vlad the Impaler, like long pikes or sticks, but they're impaled on it, and there are some folks still alive. It looks like a terrible punishment going on. So I'm going to write Vlad the Impaler. All right, so this is, now I've seen it all. I think as they're rolling through, remember they're trying to skirt the side of town. They see this, it's off in a field. They radio it in that they've got some citizens, that they're seeing what looks like a prison camp and like a 747 that looks like it's base camp. So the next question is, I would imagine if a group had a prison, they would also be controlling the road in that area. Now we've seen this, but I would say it's a near sure thing, or 90% that they, whoever this group is, would be controlling road access. 90%. 72. So yes, that means there's going to be some type of, whether it's government or militia, holding the road. So is it militia? 50-50. I almost think it's more than that. 60. No. So we're going to go with it's some type of government troops. The only thing that tells me is that they're in Polish military uniforms. So Polish military uniforms. Now, are we close enough that we're going to hit this checkpoint? I got to imagine there would be a lot of caution as we come up. And I don't think the way most checkpoints are set up is the advantage is for the people running the checkpoint. So it's not a flat-out ambush. It's more like a couple cars or more blocking the road, maybe some sandbagged positions, and troops that are positioned in an open enough area that they can engage anybody coming at them. So I would imagine as we come around a bend or as we come around some wooded areas, we're going to see this. Are we far enough back that we're able to safely stop? I'm going to say it's likely at 75%. 34, yes. So we're able to, we bring the Toyota truck to a halt. I think it's probably also a near sure thing that whoever's guarding this, 90% chance that they've seen us. The noise alone from the vehicle, 90% chance, 50 even. So yes, we've been seen. We're holding our position. With us being seen, you can see there's some movement. I'm going to say that's probably at least, 300 yards down, 3 football fields. And we can see some movement, and there's attention. There's pointing out towards our vehicle. The Toyota has no armor on it at all. We're not going to just roll up and be stuck in a position. It's Russians with a Polish kid. I think the question would be, are we fired on immediately? I would think that would be less likely. Caution would be expected. If we were driving aggressively at them, they would definitely unload. But I think it's probably very unlikely that we're fired at. Very unlikely, 25 or less. 47, so we are not fired on. As we communicate in, it's the Russians communicating back to the Spetsnaz, who are in the armored 8-wheeled car, and they simply state, U-turning and get out of there. We'll work further south or further east. East still gets us closer to the Vistula. So we've got to hit the town of Turon. Hopefully I'm saying it right. But there's no point in running into this, especially if they got people up on pikes. That's terrible. But we're already seeing some activity. So we backtrack to our group. Is there... we're going to go for a scene check under Mythic, and then if we do get something, this time instead of using the chart I've come up with, which I may use again in this bigger town, I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably go to the dice. Do we do an encounter or do we do another? Now I've seen it all. So first, the Mythic check, expected scene. We're U-turning and we're coming back to meet with Krieg and the Spetsnaz. Is there anything that's going to interrupt this scene? 5. So not an interrupt, but there is an altered. Okay? So what alters this scene? We could go with just what we think would be logical. And I think I've got it. Rather than roll randomly, I think they have a vehicle that as we turn around, it starts to come out to us. So rather than flee from it, I guarantee Vladislav would say, be alert, be ready, let that vehicle at least come and talk to you. We're going to move up a little bit closer in case things go haywire. So that's not bad. It's a bit of an olive branch. It's not like it's tearing out after them, but it is just rolling in their location. Okay, I'm good with that. So that's an altered. We're still planning to come back, but as the vehicle comes out to meet us, Vladislav says, well, hold. Talk with them. All right, I've got a cool little sheet from UNE, the UNE, and it's going to run this conversation. So first of all, I want to roll a 6-sided die. I don't think this group's going to be loved. So this is loved, friendly, peaceful, neutral, distrustful, hostile, or hated. So that's 7, but I always like to either drop the loved or the hated, depending on the feel. So we're going to drop the loved, but they can still be friendly. We're going to roll a 6-sided die. Ooh, 1. Cool. Okay. Friendly. Wow. Now we got to roll percentile dice across the friendly. The higher the better here. The higher the better. 80. 80 even. So as we come across friendly, okay, it gets us into what's called helpful. All right. What's the bearing? We know we've got, let's just make it that ubiquitous Toyota. They've got a Toyota truck as well. I think they're all over. They come out and they're speaking Polish. Casimir's talking to them, and they actually seem friendly and even helpful on how we can bypass this whole area. We're just moving through trying to get up to the Vistula. What is the bearing? Percentage dice. 89 is going to take us to some kind of negotiation and cross-reference to a 77. Obscurity. So their bearing is obscurity. So they're being a little bit, they're not being very forthcoming. What is their focus? 12. 12 is, well, I don't know what parents would be. Maybe they're, okay, so Casimir's only 16. I think they come up and say, They're talking with Casimir, but right off, whoever's talking to him, the Polish person says, where are your parents? And he says, my parents are long dead. Long dead. I'm from Gniezno, and I've been on my own with my brother for quite some time. And then I think they're like, why are you with these Russians? I think there's some distrust for them being with the Russians. And he said, I've fallen in with who I've fallen in for. And I think he's trying to say, hey, we're not looking for trouble. We're just, he did say the conversation is helpful. So he says, we're not looking to mess with anybody here. We're just trying to get up to the Vistula. Is there a way I can get around without causing anybody any problem? What is the verb and the noun here? 25 is going to be fulfill. Okay. Fulfill, and fulfill what? Fulfill 11 under the noun, which is contraband. Contraband. Okay. Well, so obviously if he can get something, nothing's for free, comrade. Nothing's for free. So what do they have that they got some MREs. We know that. They pick some up. I think he says, hey, I'll toss you an American MRE. You just give me the best directions to get out of here. Is one MRE enough? Even, yes, odd, no. 3, he says, 2 MREs. These came to us easy. So I think Casimir picks a couple of the MREs, maybe the types he doesn't like. There's always some MREs you're not going to enjoy as well as you like others. He tosses a couple of his least favorite MREs to this Polish guy, who gives him directions that are going to take them further east and around the city that should allow them to get back up to the road that'll get them to the Vistula. And it did say helpful. We did trade for contraband, so I think this is going to be an honest deal. They've got the information. So the truck, the roadblock truck turns around and goes back with their 2 MREs. The Russians, there was a conversation with Casimir. He comes back on the air to Vladislav, who's communicating with Krieg and Major Giffen. Says, hey, they sent a truck to us. We've talked. They were actually kind of friendly, and they gave us, for a couple MREs, they gave us a route to take us further east and then north around town. That shouldn't be a problem. I think we should just go check that out and scout it. It seemed like honest goodwill. And I think Vladislav, there's no doubt, he's like, do it, check it. So we're going to roll that, but I got to know, even or odd, is there anything else on now I've seen it all? I want to use this chart one more time. I'll probably use this more than a few times. I wanted to get some more of the shock of rolling through like the Armageddon area. Ooh, I got it. Instead of that, there were rumors. And since our guy was helpful, let me ask him before he leaves. I like that. I've got rumors that I've set up the same way. And then I even set up some stuff for ain't so bad, just in case we run into a system that seems like it's good. But we would have, with all that helpfulness, with the bartering exchange, I would have definitely asked, or Casimir would have asked for any rumors. This I only have 3 different columns of 6. So what is the rumor of the area? And maybe there's a couple. We have 6, which is there's a weapons silo. Now, to me, a weapons silo means like a missile silo. Surely that's what that is. So, I don't know what that would be, though. A missile silo, what? 5. Armored vehicle. Okay. Armored vehicle. And the last, and then how is this a rumor? Another 5. Big guns. Okay. So, this is a rumor. So, I think the native Pole says to Casimir, as you are covering this distance, as you push a little further east, just make sure you stay clear. There's a missile silo that's heavily guarded. We don't know if there's just troops still guarding the silo or if it's some type of area that people are staying to, like a bunker, to wait out the problems, but they are well armed. So armored vehicle and big guns. And I think there's been rumors that there's armored vehicles that'll come and go from there. This sounds actually kind of tricky. This sounds like it could be some higher government base. I'm going to write that down. And it sounds like something we would not want to tangle with. So he's warning us as we go east. I would imagine, it's only a rumor though, so it's just further east, or maybe it's further up near Turzon. Okay. So we have a caution to stay away. But he does say it's like 12-foot cyclone, razor wire fenced. It's guarded. Big guns tells me that it's probably even got artillery. And it's some kind of secured silo base. Okay. Being in Poland in 2000, would Vladislav know of this? He's been apparently through this area. I'm going to say this is very, well, not, maybe just unlikely. 35% chance, 35 or less, he's heard of it. 86. All right. Nope. They file it off. This is relayed over the radio, and I'm going to put it in the thread. So let me throw it in a thread of a weapons silo. Let's call it a missile silo. All right. So who knows? Maybe that never comes up at all. But we're going to work our way back around to the east. We've got a rumor. Let's see. I think that's our encounter. Let's go back to, is there any other kind of expected or unexpected scene? So we're skirting the town even further to the east. It's going to slow us down. So I'll end up, if we don't run into this, I'll do a random event as we leave the area. 2. Wow. So we're going to have, that's an even, we're going to have an interrupt. All right, for this, I don't know what it could be from here, so I'm going to go with action and subject just to figure out what it is. 54, kill. Not necessarily good, but kill what? Kill 16, kill love. Okay, well, I'm going to roll again. I'm not sure what would kill love. 97 up on the action. 97 is transform. Transform. Remember, we are skirting even further. 97 is leadership. Leadership. Okay, so kill love. Transform leadership. I'm going to roll one more time. We can roll 3 on this. Let's see. 17 is antagonize. And 23. 23 is balance. All right, so kill love. Well, what kills love? I'm imagining, let's just go with like a hardened heart. A hard heart. And what would transform leadership? And then what would antagonize balance? The only thing I can think of, it sounds like maybe there's another faction. I mean, why would that one group running the prison area have out a checkpoint? Only if they were having difficulties with, say, another group. We already said they were like Polish military. So that group is having troubles with another group, hardened heart or kill love, transform leadership. So I'm imagining in this area at least a bit of a civil war. Maybe it's some locals against their own military militia in there. So this is interrupting. We must be seeing units that are moving towards that checkpoint that we're coming across. Okay, I'm good with that. We are in a Toyota truck, So they would assume that maybe we're bad folks. Again, it's just Casimir and the 4 Russians. All right. A yes/no question. Is it the ubiquitous Toyota truck from the other militia? And I rolled 91. I was thinking 50-50, but either way, 91 is a no. All right, it's so high. Okay, so it's not the Toyota truck. So is it just 50-50 dismounted troops on foot? 53, no. All right, let's go all the way up to a tank. It's a T-72. Of course, 43. Okay, so we've run into a T-72. And the good thing with the T-72 is it's very loud. And it has a diesel exhaust. So I don't think we're going to just bumble into it. But that would be if it's running. So let's ask. 50-50, is the T-72 running? 10. That is a hard yes. Okay, so it's running, it's making a lot of noise, it's belching out smoke. Well, that's a good thing. We're able to get off the road as we hear the clank, clank, the tracks. You can hear a tank a ways off, and we use the 4-wheel drive as we hear it. We're rolling around with the windows down to get off the road. We report that we're hearing tank movement. Okay? And I'm sure our friendly guy would have told us, hey, it's just infighting amongst us in the area. All right. It turned out I did not hit record, and I started filming some stuff. So let me catch you up real quick where I am. We got off road to avoid the T-72. As we did, we ran into some dismounted troops. Now, I rolled through, and it turned out they were part of the militia group, or the government group that was running the roadblock. They actually thought our Toyota was them, which is why they didn't fire us up. They didn't have any means to mess with the T-72. They were off-road for the same reason we were. And once we shared the trading the MREs, we just got a hold of Vladislav, and we skirted another 2 miles off-road to the east, trying to get out of this conflict zone. I drew a random card, a 10 of hearts, which was some American troops. There's a column of smoke and some American troops that were ambushed, and some were dying and crying for help. But when I pulled this card, it did fit an off-road daytime event, but we wouldn't have approached. I don't think Casimir has binos or anything. We could see a column of smoke. I think we got eyes on it. We could see it was troops, but I don't even think we were close enough to determine they were U.S. troops. They're not moving around. More confirmation is all I took it as, that 10 of hearts, that we're still in a conflict area. Not what we're looking for at all. Again, we reported back to Vladislav, and he said, push 2 more miles east off-road, and he's trying to follow our lead to just stay out of the conflict zone. Again, and I apologize, it was like for 15 minutes I was running, so I did a check, just a scene check, to see if anything else happened, and I had an even, that was an interrupt. And so something interrupted us as we were driving, just trying to make camp. I decided to go with a now I've seen it all, and I got skin face mask. So this is a person with some skin face mask on. Then I rolled prisoner again under the chart, a number 3, and then I rolled a 10 under the last column of open arms. And immediately what I pictured was, just like the other prisoners we had, I think there is a man who has been spiked that we come across, but what's even more horrifying is they've cut a face off and like somehow strapped it around his face. And open arms doesn't mean a hug, I don't think. I think it means that like he's been tied arms open somehow. I don't know. But with the prisoner in the skin face mask and the open arms, I did not see this as someone coming to greet us with open arms. I saw this more as in line with the prisoners, that this is yet another person that's been spiked. And I'm just telling you, Casimir and the Russians are spooked at this point in time. They're trying to stay out of the area, and they keep running into freaky stuff. Probably because I'm rolling on now, I've seen it all. But this is some kind of, this reminds me of like, the Chechens or the war there where they were so against each other that there was all kinds of atrocities, but it was like a civil war-ish. I don't know, I'm no expert on that. And I'm just telling you, they're like, this is problematic. And I think they're going to also start working their way back south now, maybe east and south, just to try to link back up with Vladislav. Although they are the tip of the spear, they've got a problem, and they're going to need to work their way well clear of here. So let me just do yet another scene check. I want to see, as they're working their way south, just communicating over the radio, so they should be able to link up. Is there anything that interrupts or alters? 10, no. They're able to link back up with Vladislav, the BTR-80, and Krieg in his armored car. And yeah, I think Vladislav explains, yeah, everything's breaking down. I've seen this. As long as I think Vladislav's actually almost thrilled. Hey, they're not looking to involve you. By extension, or us. We don't pick sides. We're just trying to get the heck through here or out of here. Matter of fact, you're able to trade with some of them. We just don't want to pick a side. We just got to get on out of here. I'm going to make camp here. I'm going to give Casimir a stress based on this. I think seeing all that, especially the guy with the skin face mask put on him and then tortured on a pike. Ugh. But I think what they've seen is just terrible civil war going on. Not much different than what we had in Niezno, but not to this extent. Well, maybe Krieg. So we're just trying to push through the area, but we are not through the area. We have not fully skirted it. So I'm going to close the scene here. When we return, we'll be picking up from our camp, and I'll open up with a random event to just, or a fate chart check on how does the evening go. We are going to hold guard, but we've retreated back into a three vehicle guard position. Just to hunker down for the night and then hopefully get out of the area in the morning. Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs as we continue to just try to get north to the Vistula and get on our armored tugboat to Warsaw and find us some gold bricks, baby. Gold bricks!